What's up, Tailgaters? You're in the booth with Tailgate Nate today. Welcome to my channel. Another Week 2 preview prediction video coming at you today. And today, we're talking about the Texas A&M Aggies against the Miami Hurricanes. This is a very, very big game for both of these teams last year, and both of these teams, my apologies, ended up underperforming. This is a huge game for both of these teams here in Week 2 of the 2023 college football season in order to get off on the right foot here this season. Before we dive into the preview prediction, just want to thank you guys again so much for all the support the channel has seen as of late. Continue to show your support for the channel by hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell so you know when videos get uploaded, but there are more ways than that to help me support my channel. You guys are doing one right now by watching the video, and you guys can do more by liking, commenting, sharing, anything else you guys are willing and or able to do to help me support my channel would mean a lot to me. So again, whatever you guys are willing and able to do, greatly appreciate. Let's dive on into this Week 2 preview and prediction video. We're talking about the Texas A&M Aggies. We're talking about the Miami Hurricanes. This is going to be an absolute battle. I'm really, really excited to watch this game. You got the 23rd ranked team in the nation and the Texas A&M Aggies, one of the teams that's probably just on the outside looking in of the top 25 poll, the Miami Hurricanes. And again, as I said, both these teams disappointed last year. This is a huge springboard game for both of these teams to really prove that they belong in the national conversation here in the college football world. So let's dive into some stats. Again, these are stats from last week's games. Again, only a one-game sample size, so you can take them with as big or as little of a grain of salt as you would like. But we're going to talk about Texas A&M first, as they are the road team, as this game is in Miami Gardens. It is in Hard Rock Stadium. Let's talk about the Aggie offense first, right? And really, 52 points against the New Mexico defense may not seem like much, but Texas A&M, I don't even think scored over 40 last year. And in fact, I think they maybe got over 30 once, and that was the final game of the season when they beat the LSU Tigers. So when you're taking a look here at this Texas A&M offense, getting 52 points here is a huge, huge accomplishment, and the offense showed versatility. Connor Wiegman was really, really good, 236 yards and 5 passing touchdowns for him. You also did have Max Johnson come in there and play some snaps there as well. The running game was kind of a by committee running back room. Amari Daniels, Le'Veon Moss, Ruben Owens, all those guys got carries. You saw Connor Wiegman run the ball there as well. And you may have to key in on maybe one or two guys here against this Miami defense. But the offense really moving with some really nice pace, really was kind of just controlling that game. And again, they looked so much better than the offense from a week ago. So Bobby Petrino, that hire, looking pretty good early on. Again, it's only a one-game sample size, a little bit too early to tell, but it looked good in that game against New Mexico. It really has a lot to prove here in this one. As far as the defensive end, I mean, this was kind of the Texas A&M defense that we expected, right? Didn't really generate as much pressure to the quarterback as I would have first thought, but they were able to limit on the ground. They limited through the air. They did force a turnover, and they have a huge defensive front, even some really good players in the secondary as well. Josh DeBerry led their team in tackles. He did have the lone turnover with an interception, did have a pass defended, a sack, again, led the team with 10 tackles. But there are a lot of big boys here up front and a lot of guys that really can create havoc in the pass rush. Expect them to do that in this game against Miami here coming up on Saturday. Now let's take a look at the Miami Hurricanes. Let's take a look at their offense, and they actually were able to outgain what the Texas A&M Aggies were able to do in their first game of the season offensively for the Miami Hurricanes. 38 points, so not as much scoring as Texas A&M had, but almost 500 yards. The rush game was absolutely superb. You saw guys like Parrish get involved. You saw Mark Fletcher get involved there. A.J. Allen, the Nebraska transfer, got in there. Donald Chaney. All those guys had at least 8 carries in this game here. So, and then on top of that, Tyler Van Dyke, hey, looked pretty solid. 201 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 pick. Again, there are some things that Tyler Van Dyke can clean up, but did have 77% completion percentage, throwing only 22 passes. This was a run game that really dominated the Miami of Ohio game. Yes, I know Miami played Miami in the first game of the season. Yes, it was the Confusion Bowl, as the announcers were dubbing it for that game. But the Miami Hurricanes, the Miami, Florida Hurricanes, looked very, very good, especially running the football. Tyler Van Dyke was able to take some shots to some guys like Restrepo, to some guys like Colby Young. a lot of nice receivers on this team there as well moving forward. Now taking a look at the defense here, well, it did pretty much everything you'd want them to do against a Miami of Ohio team, albeit a pretty solid team out of the Mid-American Conference. They do have some really solid players there, but the defense definitely held up its end of the bargain. Right? Only allowed 3 points, only allowed 215 yards, only allowed 51 yards on the ground, was able to create pressure with the quarterback, generated 3 sacks there in that game. Just really, really good play out of this Miami defense. I'm expecting some of the same coming in here to this Texas A&M game as well. So, I mean, when you take a look and compare both of these two teams, I definitely think the Miami offense is improved from a season ago. These are two teams that had a lot of rushers, so you might get kind of a more by committee running back room out of both of these teams here in this week 2 matchup. And then when you take a look at the defensive sides, I think it's kind of what we both expected out of these two teams, right? Miami's defense playing pretty well. Texas A&M's defense got a lot of big boys up front. They're playing really, really well as well. So this is going to be a very interesting matchup here in week 2, which leads me into my, I call it my what to watch for, kind of the keys to the game. You can call them things like that. For the 23rd ranked Aggies, they are the visiting team. We'll talk about them first. It's put up or shut up time for Petrino's offense. Again, this is the Miami defense that if you make mistakes can make you pay. So that kind of leads into the second bullet point there as well. But Petrino's offense was really looking good last week against New Mexico. You have to continue that performance here against the Miami Hurricanes. Again, there are a lot of missed opportunities from both sides in this game last season, more so from Miami than Texas A&M, as again, Texas A&M did end up winning the football game. Leads me into my next bullet point. You cannot have missed opportunities. It was a very sloppy 17-9 game last year, probably more sloppy on the side of Miami. They were only able to muster up 3 field goals, but missed opportunities are still going to affect Texas A&M in this game. Last season was full of them. Full of missed opportunities, not particularly when they played Miami, but full of missed opportunities. Kind of ties into put up or shut up time for Petrino's offense. You have to be able to make this Miami defense pay, keep them on their toes, and capitalize when you're in the red zone. Get touchdowns. That's the biggest thing here. And for the defensive side, again, don't miss opportunities on the defensive end as well. If a sack is there, if a tackle is there, you have to make it. But more so for the defense, stifle the ground game. Again, it is going to kind of be a by committee running back room for Miami as it was this past week. So if one guy's not working, they may put another guy in. Again, Texas A&M has the bodies to do it. You got to be able to slow down the ground game in order to be able to limit what Tyler Van Dyke can do. Again, I've talked about this in many videos. Slow the run before you can slow down the pass. Tyler Van Dyke did not have an explosive game last week, but he could this week, which ties me into my first bullet point here for the Miami Hurricanes. Just full of great segues in this video. Apparently, Tyler Van Dyke is going to end up making some plays here. I do not expect him to only have 201 passing yards like he did last week, right? I expect him to really be able to find his wide receivers. I expect him to be able to make more plays. And at the end of the day, I expect him to have more yards and definitely more touchdowns once it is all said and done compared to his week 1 performance here. The secondary. I think the secondary from Miami is going to be up to task. Again, they allowed 164 pass yards last week against the pretty solid Miami of Ohio passing attack. Now, again, Power 5 versus Group 5, you can make the argument whatever you'd like there. And Miami did get off to a slow start last week, but getting off to a faster start and letting this secondary slow down Connor Weigman and company going to be a huge, huge key to this game, as well as, again, not on the board, slowing down this by committee running back room here with the Texas A&M Aggies as well. And then kind of a general key for Miami in this game, controlling the ball and clock matters. And specifically, if you go back to the game last year, for this year's game, it's going to matter a lot here if Miami's going to be able to control the ball, control the clock, do what they did against the Miami of Ohio Redhawks. Guys, leading into this game, I mean, it's just very exciting. You got Texas A&M as the 4-point favorite as of right now, according to Vegas. However, FPI is favoring Miami. This really is a toss-up game, guys. I could see either one of these units winning it, but I'm going to go with who's going to win the battle in the trenches. And I think right now, the team more equipped to do that are the Texas A&M Aggies. I think they will go on the road, get a statement win here, solidify themselves as maybe a dark horse in the SEC, a dark horse contender nationally, but I think the trench battle will decide who wins this game. Again, I hate to be the cliche like that, but I think Texas A&M wins it, and that's why they win the football game. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And as always, remember to play hard but tailgate harder. See you guys in the next video. Goodbye.